Let's talk about plugins of Orchard. So how the built-in functionality of Orchard can be extended, or even how the built-in functionality of Orchard is structured. And well, that's in modules and themes, and you can also create your own modules and themes. Now, what are modules and themes? If you check out here under configuration and features, you will see all the features available in the current application coming from various modules. And I'm using the terminology modules and features. Module is kind of a plugin of Orchard. Modules always contain some kind of functionality. They can also contain some styling for the sites, and of course any static resources like CSS, JavaScript files, graphic files. But usually what modules are focused on are a piece of functionality. And modules can have multiple features, and those features can be individually turned on or off here under the features screen. So the list that you can see here are actually features coming from different modules. For example, our old friend, the title part, comes from a module called title, and actually the feature's name is also title. Because modules can have multiple features, but they are not obligated to have multiple features. In the case of simpler modules like the title module, there's just one feature and that's it. So as you can see, this is enabled. If I would hit disable here, then, well, we wouldn't have titles anymore. And for example, the preview feature is enabled as well. So if I would disable it, we wouldn't have any live preview anymore. There are a lot of features built into Orchard, and a lot of these features can't actually be turned off. You see, like the settings one. This is because, well, some features are so crucial to the inner workings of the system, is that while they are structured as separate features, but they can't be turned off simply from the admin. And yeah, a lot more features here. Do check them out in a bit if you have some time, because not everything is turned on by default. When we set up the site with a recipe, then every feature will be turned on that the given recipe turns on, and their dependencies will be turned on as well. So we also have dependencies here. For example, as you see, we have two features under the deployment category. Deployment is related to exporting and importing content from and to an Orchard application. We'll talk about that later. And for example, the deployment feature set has a deployment feature and a remote deployment feature. And as you can see, this label-like thing here is actually an indication of a dependency. So the remote deployment feature can only be enabled if the deployment feature is also enabled. And that also means that if I disable the deployment feature, the remote deployment feature will be also disabled. And then if I enable the remote deployment feature, the base deployment feature will be enabled too. So if you have multiple features, you can make them depend on each other like this. And this is not just within features of a single module, but features of different modules can depend on each other like this too. There is also some search functionality here, as you can see, and bulk actions too, so you can select multiple features and bulk enable or disable them. So modules are, as I said, mostly about bigger pieces of functionality. And we have a second kind of plugins called themes. Themes can be accessed from under the design menu here and the themes settings. So everything related to the look and feel of the site can be configured here under this design menu. This is, although there are various configuration options here, semantically they are all related to how the site looks like. So that's why they are grouped under the design menu item here. And themes are very similar technically than modules. As I mentioned before, pretty much you can do anything from either of these with a few exceptions. But semantically, themes are about the look and feel of the website. So while you would usually find a lot of C# code in a module, you would find maybe none of that or just very little in a theme, but you would have a lot of templates, a lot of CSS and JavaScript files in a theme. That's the basic concept, and of course then it depends on your specific use case, how you want to structure and modularize your application. And these are the themes that we have built into the system. Since we use the blog recipe, we have the blog theme enabled. It's currently the current site theme. So that's the theme that drives the front end. Themes are both for the front end and both for the back end. So as you can see, we also have an admin theme, which is, well, the theme that drives the look and feel of the Orchard dashboard. And then we have the front end themes, which drive the front end that ordinary users can access. And we also have the Dojo Course theme here. There is nothing really nothing really interesting here yet, because this is just a basic skeleton, but we have it here. And you can also change the themes here. So if you want to use a different built-in theme, for example, you can just make it current and that's it. And by the way, our module is also displayed under the features here. So dojocourse.module is listed here. It's not enabled yet, but we'll be able to do that. And that's about it. We will see how themes and modules work in great detail when we are looking at how to develop modules and themes. The built-in features of Orchard are also well documented. If you go to the documentation and check out reference, then here you will be able to see some documentation about pretty much all the built-in features of Orchard. Do note that there is a bit of a categorization here. We have CMS modules and core modules. The distinction here is solely whether the module deals with any content. Well, a module, if it deals with content management, then it's under the CMS modules, versus core modules, which are all the other functionality. All the other functionality meaning some lower level ones, like actually the module that displays the features admin UI, or email messaging features. Do check out the documentation, because there is a lot of information in there also about modules, specifically like in the reference here. And there are various guides on various scenarios on how you would do something in Orchard.